Seeing none,
Mr.
Mr.
Gohmert would like
Gohmert, for
recognition.
what purpose does the gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
Like the last word.
Gentleman is recognized.
Yeah, and I know we waived the reading of this ROI, but I do think, in following up with what my friend from North Carolina and from Texas had to say, it's important to look at just what is being requested. And I've heard an indictment against both Republicans and Democrats in this committee that we have not, in either party, when either party has been the majority, done adequate oversight of things within our purview. And when we don't do adequate oversight, I don't care how perfect anybody is. I don't care if they're a man after God's own heart like King David was. When you have unaccountable people, then things are going to break down and bad things are going to happen. That's all there is to it. So all this request is asking for, and I'm quoting, I won't read the whole thing, the health and welfare of unaccompanied alien children, including the status of COVID-19 infections, treatment, and outcomes in the care and custody of Customs and Border Protection. Now, why are people, or is anybody going to vote no? We don't care about the health and welfare of unaccompanied aliens. These are unaccompanied. And that means there's a good chance they've been under the supervision of human or sex traffickers. Well, they've definitely been in the possession of human traffickers. That's how they got there. And we're not going to check and say, well, what about COVID? What about their treatments? What kind of outcomes have they had? What about whose care and custody they're in? Who's going to vote no? I know we're going to find out. And my friend pointed out politics would play a role. It shouldn't play a role when it comes to these things. And actually, something I share with a number of my friends on the Republican side is we have infuriated our Republican Party and been punished politically by our party for standing up when we believe that they're wrong and we need something. This is one of those things that people, regardless of their party, ought to stand up and say, you know, you're right. We need to know this information. We need to find out what's happening with these children. And for us to have anybody in this committee that says, you know what, I don't really care. When we need to make an issue out of this politically, like say a bunch of pictures of kids in cages arise, and then people find out, oh, that was during the Obama administration, then we better raise Cain about the Republicans. But then the next is any current policy, procedure, guidance, or directive regarding the placement of unaccompanied alien children in the care and custody of the Office of Refugee Settlement. Why wouldn't you want to know? What are they doing? Or because I've been out there all hours. I'm telling you, I've watched minors being switched between adults. I've watched them change addresses as to where they want to say they have a relative and can be shipped by the U.S. government. Another request in this request is number of unaccompanied alien children placed by the Office of Refugee Resettlement with sponsors that did not undergo a background check. Holy cow, we really have people on our committee that don't care where these children are placed. I mean, our governmental employees that are placing these, they are so overwhelmed with over 3 million people in the last year or so, and we don't care what's happening. We don't even want to report as to what's happening. That shocks the conscience. Supreme Court's used that term before, and it fits here. What shocks the conscience? When people on this committee would rather just be blasé, oh no, I'll vote no on this. I don't really care what's happening to those children. I don't want to do oversight let's just trust the people that are overworked and they can't get their work done. And the kids, they'll come out maybe with a sex offender or whatever, we don't care. This is too important to let this go. We ought to have everybody vote for reporting this favorably. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Does anyone else seek recognition? If not, the question occurs on the amendment and the nature of a substitute. The question is on the amendment, the nature of a substitute. This will be followed immediately by a vote on reporting the resolution. All those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? No? Oh, wait a minute. Aye.